into the abyss. We are looking at the Arcane Abyss. The one I'm holding is the full dress version, but you're gonna see spinning in front of you both versions I currently have here at the house. This is my favorite of the Arcane designs. I think it's the most attractive one that he has done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at it from above right after you guys look at this logo. Well, like I said in the intro, into the abyss. So this is the Arcane Abyss. You guys know that I did a first impressions video about this. This knife has been in and out of pocket for a while. This is my buddy David's. This is the one that I've had in and out of my pocket the last few days. This is the full dress version that my buddy Nico got at Blade Show West in Salt Lake City. So we're going to take a look at them, each one, the differences between them, and you know how I feel about the knife in general. Really do like this knife a lot. It is my favorite of the Arcane designs. So let's go ahead and crack into this one, the one I used the most. All right, so first things first, we're going to put a spec sheet up over here because this is a pretty spec heavy knife. You're looking at M390 steel, titanium, and you know, titanium pocket clip that has been PVD coated with some black coating. The coating on this has held up really well. I didn't use it real heavily because it is pretty much a brand new knife and it's very attractive, but I did do a couple things with it. You're looking at a clip point Tonto grind. Now this is a true Tonto. It has got two different grinds in it. You can see you've got a hollow here and a flat here that comes up, and those points meet where that hollow ends in a very well ground Americanized style Tonto. Now, I typically am not a fan of that, but they can be very attractive. I would not try to change that on this knife. Let's look at the good stuff. First of all, let's do some size comparison. First knife up is the Ferrum Forge Crux, which is a knife that if you have, you can see it's kind of similar in size. I think the Abyss is just about 1/4 of an inch larger, but this is not a small knife. This was the first production offering that the Ferrum Forge boys did through Mass Drop. A lot of fun. We're going to revisit this knife soon. Your next knife you're going to look at for comparison is the Olamic Wayfarer 247. Now mine is in a sheep's cliff blade, but a very good representation. These are just about 1-for-1, not a small knife here. This is a relatively large knife. Got this out because I'm looking forward to seeing Eugene. If you guys don't know, I'm going to Blade Show, or I'm not Blade Show, but California Custom Show in just a couple days. So there you go, your Olamic, and your final comparison is going to be, as always, the Chris Reeves Sebenza. And as you can see, they are just almost 1-for-1. I think the Sebenza is ever so slightly longer. Yeah, just a tiny, tiny bit. So most people know the size of a large Sebenza 21 or 31. They're just the same size. So a large Sebenza in comparison, you can see not a small knife here on this Arcane Abyss. Let's get this out of the way and talk about the actual knife. So I know we said we were just going to look at the knife, but I wanted to bring the full dress version in. So the only difference between these two knives is just the aesthetics and materials. The knife itself is the same design. It feels the same. The weight is just about the same. This one actually is a little bit lighter than this one because this has got Timascus. So you've got, I think this is Zircati pocket clip and bolster plates that are additional with a Damasteel blade. So for all intents and purposes, these are the same knife, just this is just a sexy, sexy version of it. So let's get that out of the way and talk about this. So what you're looking at is a really, really nicely done EDC folder. Clip point blade done in M390, like I said, hollow here with a nice flat grind on the very tip. It came incredibly sharp and it's very, very well ground to an extremely piercing point. The edge on it was very well done. I can't remember who Israel had do these over there at Arcane, but I do know that these were done OEM third party. The cool thing about these is these little bolster pieces right here are removable, and you can pick and choose. You can order fancy pieces for this knife. You could, you know, feasibly take these and put them on here. These are hard coat anodized aluminum pieces that just screw right in. When you take the knife apart, you can put it in there. Very well done. Very, very well done frame lock. No issues with sharpness. The only issues I will talk about later are just minor little things. full backspacer, nice pocket clip with the two-tone blade. You get a very good aesthetic look. Now, I didn't heavy use this knife, but I will say in a cut, it's very comfortable and it has got pretty good jimping. It could have been a little bit sharper, but it's not bad. It's not just there for show. And like I said, that two-tone blade on that just looks gorgeous. The action on it, just shy of drop shut, and you can actually reverse flick that knife. This will break in further over time. And give you a smoother action, but it came very smooth out of box. Extremely sharp. This is a very functional shape and EDC carry. This is the most comfortable knife of the Arcane design series so far. I've seen the Crawler, I've seen the Necronaut, and now this, and they are all really good, but I have to say, for my hands, this is the one that feels the most comfortable in use. There are a couple little bad things about it, and so we're going to turn this around here just in a second and talk about them, but they are minimal things. So let's go ahead, turn this around, and look at the bad stuff. Before we get into the bad stuff, I had wanted to mention this before we got into the bad stuff. Israel's designs have, since the beginning of the company, kind of blurred the line between function and art. This is a very functional, very well-made knife, but you can see the artistry that's in it. And I meant to mention that at the very beginning. It's even more so prevalent and visible in this, the full dress version, which is still a very functional knife, but you can see that fine line between art and functional tool. So I just wanted to do that before we got any further. And there's going to be a little step in here as well, because I wanted to mention something. So this is just a quick step in, guys. I wanted to make sure everyone knew Israel at Arcane Design was ever so kind as to raffle off, actually, I should say, one of the crawlers. It was a full dress crawler, and all the proceeds went to help me and my family deal with some of the cost that we're going to have to deal with a lot of this outside of our network testing we have to do for our daughter. It's pretty much all been taken care of. But we've got still some things that we have to deal with. So much appreciative. If you guys did bid on that into that raffle, I appreciate it. So let's get back to that knife. All right, let's get into the bad, which, like I said, there is not a lot. When this knife came, it did not have this exact finish. If you guys would remember back to the original video of this, it had a very heavy stone wash on it that was very easily starting to pick up snail trails and things like that. I gave this a stonewash tumble on the scales, and it just gives it a lot more chance of holding that finish. So the original finish, not my favorite. The next thing, the flipper tab on it is a little small, and I'm trying to compare. I believe that they are the same, but this one, no, I think I was right. I think this flipper tab's ever so slightly larger. It's just not a real big flipper tab, so it makes the action feel a little soft. It's not, and that could easily be overcome by, strengthening the lock bar tension so it kicks over a little bit further, but you don't want to do too much on that, because what can happen is then you put premature wear on your faces because there's more lateral force this way, but you could overcome that. It's not bad on this. It's not at all. The next thing I would say is, like mentioned, the jimping is okay. I would much rather that the jimping be much sharper. The functional jimping on it is good, but if they had left those points a little more acute instead of chamfering them off, I think you would have gotten more purchase on those than you currently have. And the reverse flick, you can do a reverse flick on it. It is easy to get into that fuller and do it if you're not, if you can get your finger in it. It is a little tight. It only gives you that little spot right there. You possibly could get on it down here if you've got smaller fingers than me, but it just feels like that for the reverse flick, it just feels like it's kind of tight on that. And then the final thing is the pocket clip is kind of tight. You can see that the pocket clip kind of has a bow in it. It's a very strong pocket clip, which can make it a pain in and out of pocket, especially when you consider that material is right there. In pocket, is a bigger problem than out of pocket. Out of pocket, I didn't have any problems getting it out of my pocket. It slid right up. However, when you push down in to get into the pocket, sometimes because there's so much tension here, it winds up getting that material bound in here. I'm not a fan of the cutout for this being on the exterior, but he did do a pretty good job of chamfering it. So, you know, it's kind of in the middle on that one, but I definitely wish there was a little less tension on the pocket clip. Overall, though, comfort-wise, pocket clip, not an issue. So, just final thoughts. I love the fact that he allows you the ability to change these out. This came with red. And so having the red and black as an option, as a matter of fact, hang on a second, I'll grab them, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I was wrong. They were sitting in here with this and I got that red. They were blue. But you can pick these out in different colors and you can kind of just pick and choose how you want your knife to look. And it's a really cool idea. You can buy these individually. So kind of a little fun thing. And then, like I said, if you really want to go over the top, you can just get, when he does these ones, you can just get one of these and then order these parts, the expensive, fancy pieces that go on it. So all in all, this is a great knife. I think this is my favorite offering from Arcane Design. And Israel's just such a great guy. You know, I mentioned in Step In, he did a fundraiser for my daughter's stuff because she was sick, and there is a lot of out-of-pocket costs on that. So thank you very much to that, and congratulations to the winner. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but I have congratulated him a couple times when he was in my feeds. So I kind of owed this video to a couple people because I have Nico's fancy one, I have David's standard one, and I wanted to be able to say thank you to Israel. Thank you very much, Israel, if you're watching it. Great knife. I think this is a home run in my book. This is the best one you've done so far. So, guys, not to make this take any longer, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day. So there you go, guys. It's one of my favorite knives I've seen in a long time. Not only is it really attractive, I think I mentioned at the table, I don't remember, I filmed the tabletop part a while ago. Israel has managed to find a way to bridge the gap between art and function very, very well. Not only are the designs beautiful and attractive, very, very functional and incredibly well made. He's got an eye for detail and he's got the thought ahead of how I want it done, who's going to be able to do it for me, and he's definitely stayed on top of the QC part of the house. So big thanks to Israel for the raffle of knife, and thanks to my friends for letting me borrow these knives. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. That's not how we do it. That's it on this one. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure you got it set for all and make sure you got notifications turned on your device so you get notified of everything I do. If you want to support the channel, I've said it a bunch of times, there's a ton of affiliate links down below. That's the best way you can support the channel. It's like self-sponsorship. Anything you purchase directly supports the channel, doesn't cost you anything at checkout. And I have several of my affiliates that will offer a discount, 10% off everything at Dial Strong Knives, 5% off everything at Coffee Brand Coffee. If you use my link, I think Atlas VPN through the holidays is running an 80% off 2 years for $44 for 2 years of a very good VPN. It's the one that I use. And Airfare Consolidator can save you 3% on your airfare. Other ways you can do it, I have a membership that is tier-based. Everyone has access to my Gilded server, which is just like Discord. Baseline and premium tier members are entered into a giveaway that I do on the Gilded server, and premium guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube that you can only get by being a premium tier. I've got it behind a paywall. And the final way is I have a merchandise store at Ember Shirt Co. Anything you purchase at Ember Shirt Co., I can save you 10% with the coupon code CrazySharp, capital C, capital S, all one word, CrazySharp. Saves you 10% at checkout on my merchandise or other creators' merchandise. Guys, that's it. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you in the next video.